My wife, 38 female, wants me, 39 male, to help get our lesbian couple pregnant. Failed in vitro previously. My wife wants me to get our friend pregnant. Throwaway because content of question. I, 39 male, and my wife, 38, have been together for almost 25 years and married for almost 20. We have a couple we've been friends with since college, 38 female and 35 female, and they're amazing. Godmothers to my second born. They've tried in vitro fertilization. No dice. I was the sperm donor after some convincing 2 times though. Fast forward to 3 years later, and again, they've asked. This time, however, the suggestion is the good old-fashioned way. Again, all good friends, vacationed with these ladies, would take a bullet for them. I am not shy. However, what they are asking, I'm not sure if I can do it. They, along with my wife, want me to have sex and attempt to impregnate our friend, 35 female, as they have exhausted all of their savings the first 2 go-arounds. Yes, they could adopt, however, do not want to. The couple of times as the donor, it was the 38 female's eggs in the 35 female. Apologies if the math of it all is off. As I'll be honest, I'm not being exactly sure how all of it works mechanically. My wife does not want to watch. However, 38 female does want to witness the moment of conception. I believe this to be true. I do not believe either is bisexual. I'm a bit uncomfortable initially, but was warming up to the idea as I absolutely love these women to death. I do not really want her watching as I find it would be awkward. They've both seen me naked before. Nothing weird, just happenstance. Nor am I shy, so mechanically it could work in theory. Additionally, I do not last forever in bed with my wife. However, I do range to about 8 to 10 minutes if I'm not taking breaks. What if I accidentally make her orgasm? Do I masturbate prior so it only takes a handful of thrusts? If I do go through with it and she backs off on not watching, do I just go hang out? I'm probably overthinking all of this. Obviously not a conversation I can have with just anyone.
I'm the wrong for blocking my best friend of 6 years with no explanation. Me and my best friend had been friends since we were 16 years old. It's such a weird friendship, like we got on so well, but she was always one of them people that had to one up. Always talk about boys. I'm 16, I don't give a fuck. If you had been to Tenerife, guess what? She'd been to 11 Tenerife. That actually grated me the most was when she'd make me feel or look stupid in front of people. If I had any kind of achievement, she would put me down about it and then switch it around and make herself the subject matter. Fuck off. I believe it would be 10 times worse if we were around boys. I didn't realise what was going on at the time. I was just too young to understand that my friend was actually trying to embarrass me all the time. I just thought, oh, you know, maybe she's just trying to have a joke, or, you know, we're besties, she wouldn't be mean to me. I just accepted her flaws. I tell you this behaviour actually continued in our 20s, you would not believe it. Behaviour was at its peak when we both got into relationships. Love of God, when I tell you it would always be about her, every single fucking conversation. What the fuck is that about? Whether the conversation was good or bad, best believe it would revolve back to her. And if we were to go out, guess what? It would always be about boys. I tell you, this kind of friendship literally drains the fucking life out of you. It was beyond draining. She was like a leech. She was quite literally sucking the soul out of me. The amount of shit I let slide because I wanted to savour our friendship is crazy. Anyway, at this point, we are both in a relationship. Both turning 21, very close together. Our birthdays are only 5 days apart. 3 weeks before our birthdays actually hit, we both get dumped. Just thought 2 heartbroken best friends is the best combo. Just to be able to support each other, uplift each other, and just be better together. Genuinely thought we would unite as one. Checking up on this girl every minute of the fucking day. I was sending long paragraphs, motivational speeches, reminding her of her worth. I was doing everything. And what did I get? Nothing. And I was in the exact same boat as her. I was doing everything I could to be there for her, even though I'm just as upset because of my situation. I kept asking to see her, and she kept saying no, that she was busy. Busy with who? Who are you busy with? fuck is going on? Completely understand and sympathise that she was hurting. I was also heartbroken. Why aren't you there for me like I'm there for you? Do you know what I mean? I need the same energy reciprocated because it's not happening. A week after her breakup, she was already talking about new boys that she had been talking to and meeting up with. I was like, what the fuck? Got over that quickly. Mustn't have been that heartbroken. Ironically, I got so bored of talking about the same shit different day. At this point, we are like a few weeks in, and she still hasn't asked me if I'm okay. I wasn't okay, but you could ask. At this point, I just got so fucked off that I just stopped messaging her just to see if I would receive any kind of message. Did I? No. You would be correct. I didn't. I didn't receive one message for about 2-3 weeks. Because I actually didn't hear anything, I thought I'm gonna have to reach out because I'm worried that she might not be okay. I don't know why I'm thinking this because she's selfish, but you know what I mean. So I just messaged her and said, just checking in. I hope everything's okay. Haven't heard from you. Silence. Crickets, in fact. I got ignored. I'm actually creating conversation about her. Surely she'd want to reply. The days pass and I message again. And what happens again? She ignores me for a second time. How much ruder can you get throughout this whole entire 6 years? It's fucking rude. Time I double text. I said, look, have I done something to upset you in any kind of way? Because you're just ignoring me. And for what? The audacity. The audacity! He says to me, I feel like you don't bother with me anymore. You just don't care. You haven't helped me throughout this whole process. And I just want someone to be there for me and you're not. I sat there and I thought, what the fuck are you talking about? You are chatting right out of your ass. Are you taking the piss? Has to be some impractical joke. Someone, where are the cameras? Quite literally explained everything that I have done for her in the past couple of months. Girl is weird. She's weird. She's so... I don't know what I was thinking. She responded with, so do you want to do something tonight then? I'm sat there, I'm disbelief. For some reason I felt bad if I said no, so I said yes. And I didn't realise what her motive was. I realised I fucked up. I said yes because I felt bad from what she had said. Thought that maybe we could rekindle things. We couldn't. Obviously we meet up that night and I think, oh, we're going to do something, you know, cutesies because, you know, we're both sad. No. No, 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 no. She had other plans. Do you want to know what them plans were? Up with about 5 boys at a big Tesco's that I don't even know. Just imagine at our big age we're meeting up at Tesco's still. Stop. In mind, she didn't even tell me that we were meeting up with these boys. I thought it was just going to be like a girly night. No, we're meeting up with about 5-6 boys. Of course she knew all of them because she's been speaking to them all, so she was fine. I wasn't. The whole entire time that we were there, she did not speak to me once. Wasn't including me in any conversation she was having. I was just sat there like, I want to go home. If I did speak, she would take the piss out of me and try and embarrass me in front of everyone. Thinking that, you know, yeah, go girl, you're really cool. No one's thinking that you look like an arsehole. You look like an arsehole because you are an arsehole. I just thought no one thinks you're cool, mate. No one here thinks you're cool by embarrassing someone on purpose who you're proclaiming is your friend. Best friend. I tell you, this was my last straw. The straw's gone. I lost my shit. I had enough at this point. I thought, fuck this for a laugh. And you are a word that cannot be said on the internet. All I said to her was, you can get fucked, mate. And she whispered under her breath, bitch, I'm not deaf. Say it with your chest next time. Just went straight home, blocked the bitch. And she's been trying to reach out to me for about a year now. I don't want to know, mate. You're blocked. You don't need an explanation because I have told you many a times what the problem is. It's you. Definitely wasn't self-aware in the slightest. She didn't care about anyone else apart from herself. Tell you for a fact that I will never, ever be friends with someone like that again.
So when I was 19, I moved into this house after a breakup, and I found this room on Facebook Marketplace. This girl was selling her room or whatever, subleasing it, and it was, I think, $250 a month, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So I moved into this place, and it is a very old home. It was made out of local stone, and it was on this block that all the houses were made out of local stone, and if they weren't made out of local stone, they would not still be standing. I'll just say that. They're very old. So this house had been converted into separate apartments, and I was living in a room that you had to walk through a bathroom to get to, and this room is also connected to another bedroom, but we just put like furniture in front of it, so it kind of felt like a bedroom. So that's where I was staying. And the first night that I was sleeping there, I was woken up out of a dream, don't know what I was dreaming about, and I saw this woman just like hovering over me, looking at me. And I looked at her for a few seconds, and when she realized I was looking at her, I just saw her eyes get really wide, and she looked nervous, and she disappeared. And I've never really given that a lot of credit because I was waking up out of a dream. You know, sometimes you just see things. I don't know. But then the next day when I was leaving to go do something else, you know, I was opening my door, going through the bathroom to get out of the house. I swore that I saw someone like crouched in the corner of the shower. And I thought that was weird. But because the night before and how I was like, that was probably just a dream. I'm probably just paranoid right now. I'm not going to give it any credit. So time goes on, right? And I get a cat. Love the little thing. She's precious. And it gets to a point where, you know, I'm 19. I'm a full-time college student. Her food was more expensive than mine, and I couldn't afford to keep her anymore. So one of my friends took her, and I noticed as soon as she was gone that things started to get a little hairy. Like from that day forward till I moved out, every single day something happened. Didn't matter if it was daytime, nighttime, or anything. But that little figure that I had seen crouched in the shower was a little boy. And he was very upset that my cat was not there anymore. So what did he do? He terrorized me. Like, it got to the point where I had to rearrange my room so when I would wake up and roll over in the middle of the night, I wouldn't see him because he would stand in the corner where I had my cat's stuff as if like protesting that she was gone. And that was every single night from that point on. During the day, I would have hangers and clothes fly out of my closet. Did not matter. Door would open, closet and clothes would just fall out. And it became a normal thing, you know, like I would see him and I wouldn't think twice about it because I didn't want to engage. I didn't want to encourage it. So what I would do is I wouldn't say anything. If he was really scaring me, I'd go to someone else's house. I just dip out because, you know, like child spirits, you don't really know if it's a real child or not. I think this was a real child because he was just throwing tantrums and taking it all out on me. The scariest thing that ever happened with him, though, was I was doing laundry one day. I guess my cat had probably been gone for a couple months now, and I'd become adjusted to seeing him. It wasn't anything new. And I was folding my laundry on my bed, and I watched him crawl out of my closet, look at me, and crawl underneath my bed. It actually makes me sick to my stomach, even thinking about it, because I don't know if you've seen any scary movie. It was horrifying. So yeah, I dipped. I didn't come back for like 2 days because that was horrifying. And before I left, though, I did get on my hands and knees and look under the bed to see if he was there. One of the bravest moments of my life, he wasn't. And at that point, I was already done. You know, I didn't care that I didn't see him. I was done. So, I mean, my laundry was clean. It didn't matter. I dipped. And from that point on, it never got that bad again. But he was almost always in the shower when I would be leaving. And the way that our bathroom was set up, like the mirror faced the shower, and there would be times where like I would be getting ready. I'm crying. I would be getting ready and I would see his little stinking head pop up in the mirror. And I had to start sleeping with a face mask because I would roll over in the middle of the night and he would either be in the corner of my cat's stuff or he would be at the end of my bed or he'd be in another corner. Like it was something straight out of Insidious. And I'd say that's one of the worst ghost stories I have at that house, definitely, because I never saw that woman again. There was one figure I kept seeing in the kitchen, but I never saw their face. They only stood with their back to me. So, you know, I think our timelines were just crossing or something, but no one else in the house that lived there ever had any encounters that I know of.
Before I begin, I'm going to do a little PSA for legal reasons. Everything I'm saying in this video is just me simply speaking on my experience. This is not to defame or slander any business or corporation or person whatsoever. And this is all a joke, so you can't really sue me for a joke. So a lot of people have been asking me if this is Saks, Nordstrom, Louis Vuitton. It's none of those stores. It's not even close to that type of store. This is a family-owned business, allegedly, that's been around for like 100 years. It's a Jewish-owned company, allegedly. So I started working there February 19th, and I got fired March 20th. So like a month after I got hired, they fired. And let me tell you guys why I got fired. The only reason that makes sense, because I was a perfectly fine employee. And I took this job really seriously because I wanted to become a personal shopper for, you know, celebrities, because celebrities would come into the store. And so one day my coworker has a client in Chanel, and when you have a really big client, the whole store is aware of it, because it's like, oh, if that coworker needs help, she has a really big client, you have to help her. So my coworker comes up to me and she's like, I have a client in Chanel, can you please help me grab some clothes from downstairs? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I grabbed a bunch of clothes for her, and I go into Chanel. I open the fitting room, and her client is a celebrity and her sister sitting down. So it's me, the two celebs, my coworker, and then my manager also comes in. So they introduce me like, oh, this is Nargis, she's new, whatever. And the celebrity, who shall not be named yet, allegedly, she looks at me and she's like, oh, you're gorgeous, are you Persian as well, like her? And she pointed to my coworker, she's Persian. And I was like, no, I am actually from Afghanistan. Immediate mood switch. The energy completely shifted. I don't even know if my manager and my coworker knew that I was from Afghanistan and I'm Muslim. But like a minute after, the celebrity, allegedly, looks at my manager. My manager is Jewish as well, and so is my coworker. So they're both Jewish. So the celebrity looks at her and she's like, so how are you feeling these days? And it was very random. So my manager was kind of like, I'm feeling fine. Why? What about you? The celebrity's like, oh, you know what? Like, I am so pissed and I'm so upset. She's like, why? Celebrity goes, these Muslims killing our people in Israel. It's sickening to see. Have you not been seeing what's going on? The war in Israel. And then my coworker chimes in, yeah, it makes me sick. I've been unfollowing so many pro-Palestinian people. They're all over my... And then my manager starts talking about it. Yeah, it's heartbreaking seeing how many Israelis are being... And I'm just standing there like, is this real life right now? Like, is this woman really saying all of this after I just told her I'm from Afghanistan? Mind you, this woman, the celebrity, is only speaking to them about the Israeli situation and not me. So that just proves it even more that it was directly targeted towards me to make me uncomfortable. And I was like about to cry. I was like so upset, mostly because I was like, how can someone be filled with that much hate in their heart? So I chimed in and I was like, you know, it's really heartbreaking to see innocent Palestinians die, as well as, you know, innocent people on both sides should not be dying. And they just go quiet, and it got so fucking awkward. I feel like the celebrity's just never been put in her place before, and she's just been surrounded by yes men or something, because like, you can't treat people like, especially when someone is on the clock. Like, I can't even beat your ass. So my manager obviously sees that it's like uncomfortable, so she hands me some clothes and she's like, thank you for your help, just put these downstairs. And I walk out and I'm like about to cry, like I'm in tears. And my coworker follows me downstairs, and instead of asking me like, hey, are you okay? She was like, you know who that is, right? Yeah, don't act crazy or anything. And I was just like, wow. So fast forward to March 20th, which is like 3 days after this incident. They had me working all day only to call me in 5 minutes before my shift, sat me down to tell me that they're firing me. And when I asked them what the reason was, they go, expense conservatism. They have almost 200 employees, but they're firing one person because expense conservatism. They're obviously firing me because I can't keep my mouth shut and it's a liability. So after I left, put all of the owners and all the managers in a group chat, and I sent this message. Also, this company is very racist. Like, if there's black people walking in the store, you'll see the security guards specifically like talk in the mic and be like, keep an eye on them in YSL, or keep an eye on them in the shoot, because that's how they're trained to work. And I know a lot of people are like, tell us the name of the celebrity, name drop, but I'm sorry guys, like, you guys can guess who it is, but I don't want to be at war with a billionaire, because I do have a family, I do have a life, I do have like my own stuff. Like, I don't want to risk getting into an altercation or like a lawsuit with these people.
Scare easily, go ahead and exit right now. When my grandmother was in hospice, she hospiced under the care of my mom and my aunt in this home. As it got closer to the end, my grandma would kind of swat and be like, do you see them? Do you see them? They're just flying all around me. They're flying all around me. She would also say that she sees a man in the corner. One day my mother was in the bathroom doing her hair and my aunt was going to the store. While my mom was in the bathroom doing her hair, she felt a huge gust of wind, as if like somebody was like walking by and walking through our hallway, and they're walking fast and like with a purpose, like startled my mom. Then she peeked outside the door and she's calling for my aunt. She's like, Pat, is that you? And it wasn't my aunt. And then it happened again, and she sees somebody like walking by, and my mom was like, what the heck is going on? My mom just gets this really weird feeling, and she goes into my grandma's room and she's like, hey mom, are you okay? And my grandma was like, did you see him? And my mom was like, yeah mom, I saw him. He starts speaking to it, starts saying, hey, I think I know who you are. We're not ready for her to go. And my mom said that it was a cloaked figure, like a pale cloaked figure with like a button-up shirt with a high collar, like ruffled high collar up to here, ruffles on the sleeves, and like a hat that Abraham Lincoln used to wear, like a top hat. Like, a few days passed. My grandma is watching Judge Judy, because that's what my grandma loved, Judge Judy. And my mom is in there, and Judge Judy had just gone off, and my mom goes in there and she's like, hey mommy, ask my grandma if she wants to watch the Today Show now, because Gladys Knight and the Pips are going to be performing. And my mom has her back turned to my grandma, and my grandma's back here laying down. And my mom says, she's like, hey mom, do you want to watch the Today Show? Gladys Knight and the Pips are on. And my grandma said, no, he's here. And my mom says, who's here, mom? And when my mom turned around, my grandma had passed. Like, my grandma was dead. She was gone. She said, no, he's here. And she was gone. It was the angel of death. The angel of death came and took her soul. He's here.
I am so angry at my mother-in-law right now. So we decided to try be a family this weekend. See, because it's Easter, we thought we would do a nice little Easter trail for the kids. The adults can kind of get together, have a few Easter cocktails, just try to be a normal family, okay? Which, can I say, is quite hard when you have a narcissistic mother-in-law. One thing about me is I love planning stuff. My house is the central hub for all family gatherings. I love going on Pinterest and recreating loads of stuff. Like, I just love planning. It makes me so happy. My husband Mark actually said to me, like, oh my god, about a year ago, that, oh my god, you really influenced my mum to start like planning things. Like, she never used to love it, but now she does. Like, she saw how much you loved it and really took inspiration, and I thought, she wants to be me. Basically, my mother-in-law really wanted to plan this Easter egg hunt with all of the grandkids. See, I'm not a control freak like my mother-in-law, so obviously I was like, Yeah, of course you can plan it. Like, we can do it in my house. Come round and, you know, plan it all, basically. She did. She started coming round and where to, like, hide the eggs. It was quite cute, to be honest. And we did almost bond. One thing I did keep saying to her during this process is, please remember, my child's really allergic and sensitive to a lot of stuff. She knows this. I mean, there's not even that much. There's maybe like 5 bits of food and like ingredients that you can't have at all. And one of them being cocoa beans. So obviously I was asking her, like, do you want me to go and get like this special Easter eggs that we can get him? Or how are you going to get around this Easter egg hunt so he doesn't pick up the wrong ones? She was like, no, I can go get the special Easter eggs. I'll make sure it's all color coded so we make sure he gets the right ones. And I thought, like, whatever, I'll trust her for this time. It's okay. So today came and she wanted to surprise all the adults with it as well. So me and Mark and all of the siblings and grandchildren went out for a like Good Friday breakfast. She could set up the whole house, and to be fair, she did a great job. We came in, it looked amazing. The kids absolutely loved it. Now, even though I weren't necessarily worried, I still did double check that she had the correct names, and she yelled at me. She was like, stop controlling what I'm doing. Like, I know my grandson's allergic to stuff. Put him in danger. I don't need your help. So the Easter egg hunt finished, and all the kids kind of had their eggs on the floor and were counting them out to see who won, and they were also eating them. As this was happening, I noticed one of the grandkids had different eggs to everyone else, and you would like to think this was my son, and it wasn't. Easter eggs looked exactly the same in the exact same wrapping as all of the other kids. One of the other kids had a different one. So just calmly take one off my son, look at the ingredients, look around it, and he has ones with cocoa beans in it. I really calmly asked my son how many of these he has had. Replies 3. They're obviously only these like tiny ones. He hasn't had 3 full Easter eggs. Obviously that is way enough to cause a reaction. I literally grab him, pull him into the car while screaming, obviously, at my mother-in-law, you didn't check hard enough, my son has the incorrect one. This is all stemmed from her refusing to ask for help. If she simply let me double check and let other people get involved, it wouldn't have happened, but she feels the need to do everything by herself. I just found out my son is my brother. Story time. So let's backtrack just a little bit. My parents were super young when they decided to have me. I am, or thought I was, the only child. I had honestly an amazing childhood growing up. Even though my parents were super young, they were super hardworking. As soon as they knew they were pregnant with me, they moved out. They got their own place. My dad is extremely hardworking, and my mum did an amazing job raising me. They were really great parents. However, because they got pregnant so young, they did decide to not have any more kids. So obviously this is what I thought the situation was in my head, and I was perfectly okay with it. Now, as I got older, I met my amazing husband, Mark. Our relationship has felt like a fairy tale as well. Like, to be honest, I just feel very privileged in terms of how well my life has gone. However, after a little while, me and Mark decided to get married. We had an amazing wedding. Obviously, we got our own place. We were kind of like moving forward with our life. And it got to a time where we decided we both wanted kids. Obviously, we had the talk with each other and we decided to start actively trying. But it turns out we were struggling to get pregnant. So obviously we decided to get a little bit of help. We had a few tests done. It turns out we cannot get pregnant, both of us, surprisingly. Obviously we still wanted kids so bad. We decided to go down the adoption route. So that is exactly what we did. We got the go ahead, so we started obviously looking into kids, you know, the whole drill. But oh my god, so quickly we found the, like, oh my god, it was a perfect match. Okay, this kid was a tiny bit older, so he was 6 years old. So when we started having a few visits with this little boy, he liked us just as much as we loved him. I don't know, everything was just falling into place so quickly. And long story short, we thought, this is the kid, this is our son, like, we're going to adopt him. So we started going through that whole official process, and we were so close. Like, we literally had like a moving in date type of thing. And then we got a call from our like person that kind of sets this all up, and she was like, you need to come in because we need to discuss something, and this is like quite urgent. It's not good, basically, and hurry up and get your ass in here. She basically called us in and she was saying, you cannot adopt this kid. And we were so confused, and she basically said that he is your brother. And I had to take a step back. I was like, I don't have any siblings. Like, my parents are still together. No one's ever cheated. Like, definitely got this wrong. It turns out my parents were secretly pregnant. No idea about it. And apparently they were thinking of keeping the kid this whole time until my mum gave birth, and they just decided they couldn't handle another like baby and doing that whole thing again. Now I feel the most heartbroken in the world, not just because I thought he was the one, but I got given such a good childhood from my parents. Another kid couldn't get that.